Welcome back, everybody. Okay, this week we are going to be talking about the vishuddha chakra, which is the throat. And the block of the throat chakra is jealousy. Jealousy and judgment. Jealousy and or judgment, kind of like interchangeably. So, and you can always spot people that are jealous because if you point it out and say, hey, it sounds like you're kind of jealous, they'll always be like, I'm not jealous. I'm definitely not. Let's get into the basics first. So, location throat governs expression, truth, voice, boundaries, communication, that self expression piece. Body parts associated throat, thyroid, neck, and jaw. The element is sound, obviously pretty on brand for the throat, and blocked by jealousy and judgment. So, let's talk a little bit more about what that means or how you know that your throat is blocked. So a lot of people think like, oh, I don't have a problem with talking, so that must mean that I don't have a blocked throat chakra. Think again. Usually, talking too much is a sign that your throat is blocked. A big one is you can't stop lying. You lie all the time. It might not be like an outright lie, but I want you to consider like how often do you lie by omission, like not saying the full truth of what you mean, or if somebody asks what you did last night and you just leave out parts that you think they might get mad at or they might judge or something, or that you don't want to be judged by. Small lies, white lies, lies that you don't think are going to harm anybody, embellishments, inconsistencies. Yeah. And if you're anything like me, I didn't realize how much I was lying until I started paying attention to it and trying to be honest all the time. And it's pretty intense. Another big indication that your throat is blocked or that you've got an imbalance going on there is constant complaining and judging others. I see this all the time, and literally this was happening to me yesterday. I was at work. My regular day job is as a vet tech, and it's very common. If you know vet med or healthcare at all, you know how often people are complaining or judging, clients or patients. It's all the time. It's pretty frequently. And one thing that is really interesting to me is like when that irritates me, when I'm, you know, because a lot of times I can just turn off and I can just be like, not go into other people's stories or things like that or their judgments and not indulge that. But yesterday it was really getting to me, you guys. It was really making me so irritable. I was like, God, can you just say something nice? Like, and that's always an invitation for me when I feel like, yeah, if these other people could just stop doing these things, then I would be just fine. Like that's not how I want to operate in the world. I always want to be like, I'm even keel no matter what's happening around me. I don't need other people to do or say or behave a certain way around me or towards me for me to be okay. Like it's totally within my power and control to be okay. And this is like a whole tangent, but the interesting thing to me of why it was so like bothering me so much yesterday is I was actually jealous. I was actually having an issue with jealousy. And I'll just get into the story too. Like my son started school today. He's just started kindergarten. It was his first day of school. But if you've ever had this happen, if you've ever gone through this experience, and I'm divorced, there's a lot that goes into the prep work of this. There's so much paperwork. And he's going to be riding the bus like to and from his daycare to the school, and there's paperwork for that, and going to the doctor and making sure they're up to date on their shots, and getting the paperwork in, and all of these emails, and getting the supplies, and going to the orientation. It's a lot of stuff. Now, I told my ex-husband 2 months ago, I said, don't worry about it. I'm going to take care of all this because I know that I want to be in control. I want to make sure I know that everything's done. I want to make sure that I've left nothing. I've delegated nothing to another person, particularly him, because it's so easy for me to get mad at him and be mean to him. And I don't want to be that person that is like existing in anger and being mean when I'm angry. And so I was like, let's just take care of this. I'm going to take care of it myself. You don't worry about anything. You know, you just monitor your email, do whatever you need to do, but I'm going to do all of this stuff. I took the responsibility. Now, this week, I was finding myself getting fucking pissed at him because he kept asking me all these questions. He kept asking me, like, what's going on with this? Where do I do the drop off? All of this is in your email. And mind you, like, whenever I completed something, I would text him like a few sentence summary of what was completed and whatever. And like, this is the standard protocol for it. Boom, done. This is what I need from you. This is what I did. Boom, done. Can you just send this to me? And so now like the week of it comes, and he's asking me different questions about things, and I'm like, I'm pissed at him. I'm pissed at him, but really what it is I'm jealous of him, because I'm jealous of him that he gets to go through life and he gets to have these kids and he gets to enjoy them without having to engage in the level of responsibility that I've had to, at least in some of these areas. But that being said, and this is not a new issue for me, this is something like ever since the kids were born, especially since we had two kids, I would get so mad at him for being irresponsible or for parenting the way that he does and not the way that I do. And like, it's really a fucking control issue. Like, I'm really controlling. I'm wanting to control everything. Now, I didn't give him the opportunity to take any of this responsibility. I fully claimed it because I didn't want to be, I had this fear of running around, rushing around the last week, having things undone because I delegated it instead of just doing it myself. So when I break it down that way to myself and I understand that, I can't really be mad at him because I created these conditions, right? The truth of it is, it's not that he's irresponsible. The truth of it is, I took on this responsibility. I said that I would do it. And now I'm pissed that I'm having to, you know, communicate with him about things. And I'm pissed that he can't take like the tiniest like scrap of responsibility. Just read your fucking email. You know what I mean? Just read the text threads that I've sent you that I've already like dealt with these questions. Just go on like the district website. Do you have any idea how many fucking websites I had to go to get all of this paperwork done, to get all to even like learn what time school starts? I didn't even know what time school started. It was a lot of stuff. But then yeah, so that's what I'm jealous of this week. I'm jealous of him for because I wish I could have less responsibility and still get to just live my life and not have to show up fully. I'm pissed at responsibility. When really, so then my task is, what's the antidote to that? Is me falling in love with my responsibility. Is me being like, hell yeah, I am that mom. I am that mom that can do everything. I am that mom that did everything. I'm not throwing it in anybody's face. I'm not rubbing it in his face or my kid's face. Like, I showed up and you didn't. I fucking totally did this, and I'm like full of myself. But I am doing this in my inner work, as saying like, why am I mad at responsibility? I love responsibility. I love being in control. I love being accountable. I love being like, I did all that work and it's done, and I can rest and be peaceful now because I know that it was done well and it was done right because I did it. You know? So all of that and complaining. And I got my period this week. So like, I've been complaining nonstop. I've been so irritable, you guys. And I don't like being like this. I don't like being irritable. I don't like being mean. But it gets to a point where it's like, stop over explaining yourself. Say what you say and then stand on that and be consistent and have that boundary. And you don't have to send a long paragraph or a long-winded explanation. One sentence will do. Sometimes even one word will do. But yeah, that fear of being misunderstood. I've done that tons of times. Almost every time I've ever been broken up with. I've been that bitch that's like texting paragraphs. Wait, you just don't understand. There's no way you can reject me. You just don't understand. You just don't know me well enough. Let me explain. When it's really like, do you really want to be with somebody that isn't even going to ask you or isn't even going to pause for an explanation? That you have to like chase them down and be like, let me talk to you about your car's extended warranty, why you should pick me. Yeah, so if you're experiencing these things, you're jealous or you're judging and you have a block. And everybody gets these blocks, mind you. It's nothing, it's not like shame, 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 shaking my finger at you. I know this because I've done this. I've done this and I've seen it in myself, and I'm a 5/1 projector. This is why I'm so good at being a trauma recovery mentor and advising other people, because I can see it so clearly. And I've been through it myself and I've healed it myself. And I call it out in myself and I keep doing the maintenance work on it. But really, when I first did this, there was an exercise about like, who are you jealous of? And just like with the example that I just gave you with my ex-husband and the responsibility issue, me being jealous at him for being irresponsible or being carefree or being peaceful or being like in flow, I guess, and not worrying. When you're jealous of somebody, the root of that is they have it, so I can't have it. They have all this money. Like people that talk shit on rich people are really just jealous. Like they have it, so I can't have it. What you really want is more money. Just say that what you want is more money. Once you claim that, you can have it easily. Just look at what they're doing and start doing that. They have it, so I can't have it. Why do you think that you can't have it? Yeah, so here's an example of how it goes back to childhood. Often a lot of us are told, like, be quiet, don't make this into an issue, please just don't be inconvenient to me, be smaller. And so we learn to lie. We learn to lie about what's really going on because the honest truth is like too cumbersome or too inconvenient for other people. And healing really comes with getting to the root of it. So doing the trauma recovery process, and then doing these maintenance things along with it, reclaiming your voice. Start telling the truth. Tell the truth all the time. And if I could give you another just like small piece of advice on this, I've been doing this for about a year, being just like brutally fucking honest with people. And I find that sometimes that is actually really mean too. That there is a tactful way to be completely honest. You don't have to be fucking ruthless and mean, which it seems like I have a tendency to do, even though I don't think I'm being mean sometimes, because it takes even a great effort for me to do all of this like distillation of, oh, why, what's going on for me? Oh, I'm jealous. Why am I jealous? What do I think that I can't have? Because it takes me so much energy to get even there, that when it comes to like being honest about that, I can be really like, well, I've made all of this effort that this other person hasn't seen, and I failed to consider the other person's feelings, and it can be really mean. So definitely there's a learning curve with the being totally honest thing. Start with just being totally honest with yourself. And again, like, don't be mean to yourself, but be honest. How do you really feel about it? How do you really feel about it? And another thing about being totally honest is the energy of how you feel and the words of what you're saying have to match. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, all this week, all the times that I've dealt with my ex-husband, I've been, I give him his answers when he asks me questions, but I say it in a tone like this, like I'm shaking my head and I'm kind of short, and I'm kind of like, the tone is, you're a dumbass. The tone is, are you a dumbass? Why don't you know this? And it's pretty fucking unnecessary and pretty mean for me to behave that way and talk that way to somebody, especially somebody that I care about and is really important to my family and my kids' life. Like, he doesn't fucking deserve that. Like, So I need to air that anger out another way before, and like get that out and come to a place of peace before I communicate, because it's just, anytime I've been on the receiving end of something like that, it's like, this really doesn't feel good. And in keeping with my minimal harm philosophy, I think I can do better in that area. But anyway, no more lying. Being honest and knowing that you can have anything that you want in life if you just be honest and accept that that's what you want. Now, here are the practices for this week. These are the things that we're going to be doing. Um, we've talked about honesty. I want you to think about or consider or reflect on, who are you jealous of and why? Who are you judging? If you can't get yourself to be like, I'm jealous of this person, think of, who do you judge? Who do you judge? Like, people that come into my work all the time, it happens where people will judge clients for their pets and the circumstances that they've gotten into. How could you have not known better? How could you have not, that's judging. And it can be very subtle, but it can be very toxic, especially if you don't know that you're doing it. So we're going to detox this behavior. Journaling can be helpful in this process too. Journaling is just really great altogether. But why do you think that you can't have it? Why do you think that you can't have what you don't? Why do you think that you can't have what you want, actually? Why are you jealous of this other person for having something? You easily could have that too. Why do you think you can't have it? That's the underlying block. And then I want you to go into the community, share your truth in the community. What are you dealing with this week? What has come up for you? What do you notice about, is it easy for you to be honest? Or is this something that you've always been aware of? Or is this something that you're like, wow, once I pay attention to it, it's actually kind of hard and kind of a lot of work for me too. It takes a lot of mental energy. Or, say it how you would say it. Say it the truth of whatever is for you. And really, this community is a safe space for you to be able to share that truth, no matter what it is. Like, and no judgment from us, unless you're specifically requesting it. Then I'll. Anyways, affirmations for this week. My voice matters, and I speak my truth with clarity and grace. So I love you guys. I hope to hear from you in the community. Bye.